Let me tell you about a bug that doesn't look like a bug, and that's scale insects. So scale insects, well, first of all, there's a whole bunch of different types of them. And a lot of them are very host specific, so they only like to get on certain types of trees or shrubs or houseplants or whatever it may be. But there are those ones that do show up on your houseplants, and they can be quite tricky to spot and to treat if they do get on your collection. Now, scale are somewhat similar to mealybugs in that they have different life phases. And in fact, the treatment for scale is quite similar to the treatment for mealybugs. So the scale, when they are in their nymph or young phase, is when they're going to be the most mobile, and that's when they can spread from plant to plant the easiest. And then the adults, they tend to find a place to congregate, and then they just kind of stick to the stem or the leaf or wherever they end up and stay in one place. But rest assured, they are feeding on your plant and weakening it over time. Now, as always, step one is going to be physical removal. In this case, a hard blast of water probably is not going to dislodge them. So what you ought to do is get a rag or Q-tip or microfiber gloves, get some isopropyl alcohol, and then either scrape them off or wipe them off if possible with those items. And in some cases where the infestation is very severe, or if it is on the leaves, you may want to prune those leaves or stems off. Now, some of the insecticides are going to be somewhat effective against scale. Things like horticultural oil and insecticidal soaps can oftentimes either smother them or break down that hard outer layer that's on the outside of them and do a decent job of killing them. But just like with the mealybugs, my favorite insecticide to use on your houseplants for scale would be a systemic insecticide. What the systemic insecticide will do is it can be put on the soil or in the water that you use, and then it will get taken up all the way through the vascular system of the plant. So essentially, instead of trying to attack those bugs, the scale insects, from the outside where they have all of their defenses, you're actually fighting them from where they are feeding on the plant. Because as they ingest the juices from that plant, they're going to also ingest the insecticide, and it's going to wipe them out over time. Overall, this isn't necessarily the worst pest to have on your plants because they don't tend to do a lot of damage very quickly, and they're also not all that common. But if you do end up with them on your plants, now you at least know what to do.